attitude? Yeah, I'm talking to you. You got attitude? No, I'm not talking about if you got an attitude with me. Just overall asking a question about attitude. And today I wanted to talk to you guys again about our attitude, the importance of attitude. What role does attitude play in our personal life? Does attitude matter? What if I have a good attitude or a bad attitude? No attitude. Does that even exist? No such thing as not having attitude. I think the whole concept or understanding of attitude is so important that we oftentimes tend to neglect it, that the key role and how much attitude plays a role in our personal life, both in the good, in the bad way, in a positive way, in the negative way, and so on and so forth. Honestly, attitude is so important that a few years ago I wrote a book titled When Life is Full of It, an antidote for your mind. It's a book that's solely focused on our attitude, on our mental attitude, on our thinking, on our perception. And what I specifically did in that book was, in all those chapters, 31 chapters in total, I dedicated each specific chapter to with a specific question. Is it a tombstone or is there a stepping stone? Are you going to get bitter or better? And I used more than 50 different types of individuals who are very well known. Some are still alive, some are not alive, where I talked about their personal life when they first started in their life, before they became very successful, millionaires, billionaires, inventing products, becoming TV personalities, Hollywood stars, or whoever they are. Obviously, they had to start off somewhere. And to my surprise, when I began to do research on most of these individuals, whether it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, Oprah Winfrey, and etc., I was very surprised of their background or their early years of their life before they became a brand name or before they became very influential and very famous or very wealthy. That they went through a lot of stuff. They went through hardships. They went through, whether it's or they grew up as an orphan. Maybe they had a child out of wedlock. Maybe they were the child out of wedlock. However it may be, but it's because they had a different mindset, because they had the right attitude for their personal life. They said, you know what? I'm not going to allow my background. I'm not going to allow my upbringing. I'm not going to allow my poverty, whatever circumstance that they were born into, to affect them. And because they changed their mindset, obviously that allowed them to move forward. And attitude is also so important and vital to us that we need to understand that it's how we look at things. It's not only just through our personal observation, but it has a lot to do with our personal heart. And I'm just reminded of this TV persona by the name of Mike Rowe. He had a very well-known show through the Discovery Channel called Dirty Jobs. I'm not sure if you watched it or not, but I enjoyed watching those shows. And it's interesting. I mean, all the different jobs that he would go and see how these people were doing them. There's a reason why it's called Dirty Jobs. For me personally, I don't even know if I would be able to do maybe half of them. I'd probably be able to do maybe half of them, but just continue to do that day after day, week after week, I'm not sure. But what I found so interesting was, somewhere within the show, Mike Rowe would ask this question, so tell me, do you really enjoy this job? Because some of those people, it was a job, like their daily job. For some of those people, it was a business that they either opened up or something, or a business that was passed on to them through their father, through their grandparents, through their generations. And it's interesting, as the question be posed somewhere within the show, it's like, well, do you really like this? To my surprise, quite a few people did like what they were doing for different various reasons. It could be because the pay is good, because maybe it's a business that was passed on through generations, or maybe it's because of such a unique job that there's really not much of it to go around and they already feel special. And I guess you can say the conclusion or the assumption they came down to is their attitude. They had the right attitude towards that type of job or towards that type of a business or work or that endeavor that they were actually doing. Even though as you're watching this, I understand there's a lot of camera editing stuff like that. You're like, oh my goodness, man. All right, I might be able to try that once, to do what they're doing, but on a daily basis, no way. So that's why, my friend, our attitude plays a very key role in how we respond or react to life, to circumstance, to problems, to the work that we do will determine the outcome. Now, I do also understand a lot of us, we have, jobs that could be temporary and seasonal. And as long as you understand that what you're doing is temporary, seasonal, have the right attitude towards it. Because even for something that you're doing temporary and seasonal, if you have the wrong heart attitude and the wrong mental attitude, you're going to be coming to work miserable every day. I get it, Mike Rowe, he was getting paid a lot of money to do those dirty jobs. So he was willing to roll up his sleeves, get himself dirty, go into the manure, whatever, the dirt into the chimney, wherever he was crawling. So I want to challenge you, my friend.
Stanberg Challenge.
have the right attitude, have the right heart attitude, have the right mental attitude. Because even where you are, maybe in a certain season of your life right now, and if you don't really like where you are right now and what you're doing, that's okay. It's seasonal. It's not going to be always like that. But in order for you to smoothly transition out of that, have the right attitude. Because if you're not going to have the right attitude towards your life, towards your friendships, relationships, you're going to be very miserable where you are and what you're doing, and the people around you are going to become miserable because having a negative attitude, it's almost like, I use another example, it's almost becomes like a smell of a skunk. It just totally sprays out through our mouth, through our thinking, and people are like, man, I want to stay away from Stan, man, just because of his thinking, his mental attitude. He's always complaining, he's always negative, and believe me, nobody wants to be around people who have a stinky attitude. Nobody. So with that said, my friend, have the right attitude, and no matter what season in your life right now, just remember it's seasonal. It'll just move on to other things, and when you do have the right perception, just like I wrote about many of those personas in my book, When Life is Full of It, now it's a whole different story that we are reading about them, watching them, observing them, maybe following them, maybe admiring them, because that's not where they were many years ago. Where they are right now, okay, is a different story. But because they had the right attitude and they continue to have the right attitude, that's where they are. So I desire the best also for you, my friend. Until next time.